from Significant. This is Crack It in an Hour.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. I'm Simon.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Roman.
And for those of you who know, you know it is one problem to crack once a week in 1 hour. One of us knows the problem to crack. Two of us have no clue. So, Roman, are you ready to start the hour?
I am. Let's go.
Perfect. And Jesse, you brought the problem.
I've got the problem.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. I have a question.
Go for it.
I love questions. I love the ones that start with a question. Okay.
Are you guys good at fixing things?
I'm okay.
Like with your own hands?
Yeah. Are you good at fixing
I'm
things?
in the lowest, probably 5% of the planet.
Are you good at building things?
Same.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Same. Low 5.
Yeah. It's pretty common.
Yeah.
This is a listener submitted question.
Oh,
listener
that's
submitted topic.
Very cool.
Okay.
The listener happens to also be my brother, so
there you
shout
go.
out to Ari. But he is also a listener, not
Yeah.
just my brother. And he strongly recommended this topic, and we had a long conversation about it. And I think it's really interesting. We live in genuinely the most instructional era of human history.
Correct.
There is no shortage of videos, information, books, content on anything, how to do anything. Yet we have completely outsourced our skills, our agency, our ability to essentially fix things.
Yes.
I think it's really interesting. Like we either have never been like less able to do these things, or frankly, we just don't even try.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading a lot, actually, it was really interesting. I was reading a lot of people on Reddit talking about like in situations where something in their house broke, and multiple people have said things like, a YouTube tutorial probably could have helped me, but I never bothered to look for one, which I think is really interesting that the information is out there.
It's totally out there.
So I want to talk about how you bring back the like repair culture, fix it culture, people doing things themselves. I hesitate to call it DIY culture because DIY got so co-opted as just meaning like home renovation DIY.
Sure.
But originally DIY, I mean, it's just do it yourself.
Yeah,
so
totally.
it is a bit of that DIY mentality, the fix it culture. We live in a culture of replace, not repair. And there are many reasons that's happened. And I can get into some of the why behind it, the causes, but I'll give you a couple little interesting statistics first. This was actually a European study from Deloitte, but they were talking about how nearly half of all products are discarded after they malfunction.
Yeah.
Nearly half after they malfunction once.
Yeah.
And 40% of people usually replace a defective product rather than repair it. Not surprising, but interesting. Back on the US side, a couple different consumer reports, but one of them was talking about how almost 60% of people who had a broken appliance replaced it rather than repaired it in the last 5 years. And just specifically on phones, among Americans whose phones broke in the last 5 years, only 16% ended up fixing it. That's either themselves or professionally, like taking it to a professional person to repair it. That's included in the 16%.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Only 16%. And many of those people who didn't fix it said that they actually intended to, but just replaced it instead. So like, I do want to focus on how do we get people to start
Fix your
fixing
own stuff.
Yeah, but it's interesting that even when you look at some of the data, people are not even bothering to take it to a professional to fix it. They're just like, they just replace it. I mean, cost is obviously a component of this. I think it's really interesting. I mean, I can get into some of the causes because I think it's like why this has
I
shifted.
have a few thoughts, and I'm curious to see if they.
Yeah, I mean, cost is an interesting one, and obviously, like most of our episodes, we can't fix that part. We can't what's interesting is like mass production and planned obsolescence of products, like making shittier products that are meant to become obsolete, and cheap consumer goods has sort of made it pointless to repair things, or it makes it harder. Like things are now made with glued components or proprietary screws that you're like, I can't actually fix this. So we kind of are going to, as we normally do, well, we might have to put some of that aside to have this conversation because there's not much we can control about that. But But, you know, a lot of people default to buying new because the reasons we just talked about, but also, you know, social norms equate new with like novelty or convenience, which is interesting for people. Another thing that I think is interesting that might be a compelling one for us to dig into a bit is that fixing has become tied to hobbies rather than to living. So people will fix their bikes, they'll fix their guitars, they'll fix things that are like when it feels like it's a hobby related activity. But if like God forbid, you know, the vacuum breaks, which is actually one of the most fixable things, people are like, well, guess we need a new vacuum. And you're like, wait. Skills gaps. For sure. That's one. And we see this coming up a lot. Like the education systems have deprioritized hands-on skills. Although interestingly, I think a lot of those hands-on skills are going to be one of the biggest advantages in the AI era of everything. And then the last sort of cause is like fear of repercussion. Like people are afraid, well, if I try to fix this first and I break it further, it's going to void the warranty. And then I won't be able to like get anything back, or I could make the problem worse. Or of course, safety hazards are a component of this. Like, you know, when it comes to like electricity, people understandably get a little worried, but some of that stuff is not as hard as you think it is.
Not at all.
And so, yeah, people don't do it anymore. They don't try. And I think similar to a recent episode, I think part of the conversation and maybe where we should start is like, what's the real problem? Is the DIY crisis a motivation problem or a capability problem? Like, do people want to fix things, but they lack the skills to do so? Or do we need to make people want to fix things first and find the curiosity in that and the willingness to go out and figure out how to do it?
Could I reframe that a different way?
Totally.
Do you think, let me ask you this, how many people who used to have to fix things actually wanted to fix things?
Or just did it because that was the best option? I mean? Yeah.
Because like, my question is like, I love this topic, by the way. Yeah. Great topic. But like, my question is like, when you're talking about starting motivation, are you fulfilling like, is there a nascent, like, I wish I could do this? Or is that all hot air and you actually have to find a hook to begin with to get people excited about doing this?
I think that's that's sort of the question I'm asking. And I think it's interesting because you know how I love the discrepancy between the things people say they want and their actual behaviors. I think this is a good example of that because I think a lot of people from a sustainability perspective and a values perspective would argue like, yeah, I really want, you know, Highland Park just last week, my friend Genevieve was telling me, literally did a repair fair. And you could bring, it was volunteers, and you could bring your broken vacuum, your broken whatever, and people were fixing stuff for each other. And I think people want to say like, you know, we live in a culture of overconsumption, and they'll say that, but I guarantee those same people are still ordering on Amazon once a week. Yeah. So it's an interesting, I don't know. I don't know where the motivation will start from. And I think that's something we're going to have to talk about.
I think one thing that's changed massively is the relationship to time.
Yes.
Like, and I think that has a big role in this conversation. Yeah. When you, like, we live in everything is like fast and short time, right? For all the reasons we know, the generation before ours, our parents at our age didn't have that.
Yeah.
So when you were like, even on a weekday, you were in an actual physical office with a phone and a fax machine, right? And you would come home and there was no way to contact you except your home phone, which would basically never happen except if someone passed away in your company.
Someone's on fire.
Exactly. So you would come home at like wherever you live, 5, 6, 7 p.m. You have that evening for you.
To do
Every single weekend is completely protected. Like the distractions of the phone, of all the content that we have, of all the things. Your mental load was likely much lighter because of all of this.
Yeah.
And that unlocked a lot of time. Our relationship to time has changed. Like I was listening to a podcast this morning and the dude's an army general, like the highest ranked guy. And he's like late 60s. He's recently retired. And he is saying the young generation, like the 20s, the ones who are like between 15 and 30 today, are showing slowly but surely, but they actually have an interest in elongating the time a little bit. Our generation, the ones who are in their 40s, are the ones who've been going for the last 15 years. Boom, 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 boom. Like, let's go fast on everything. And so it looks like there may be an appetite when we're seeing like all the digital detoxes. I'm gonna go walk without eating and without my phone for a week. I'm listening to a podcast that's 2.5 hours long. Right? This is not just our generation. So there might be a little bit of, I don't want to call it hope because there's pros and cons, but there might be a little bit of change coming. But I do think if we want to change it now with our generation, time is a big thing that we have to.
I think there is an interesting community component to it because, and I'm not saying the responsibility should be on a certain group of people, but not everybody works in the kind of industry that we work in where you're on all the time. And I think it was one of the things that was interesting that my brother said to me because granted, he's an engineer. So like, he's already good at fixing things and building things. And that's just how his brain works. But he lives in a great neighborhood. And he was saying like, he'll be talking to his neighbor and the neighbor is like, oh yeah, we have to get the back door replaced because blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, don't do that. Let me come over and look at it first. He goes over, he fixes it. And he started fixing things for people around the neighborhood. And then he said to me, I was thinking about actually hosting like classes like in his own house where he's like, I'll just take apart the light switch and put it back together and show people like this is how you could do it. But like it's an interesting, we have a massive loss of community in a lot of places, but we love to talk about how community is dead, but then in not the city, like not in the Los Angeles of the world, community is very alive and
very much alive. Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about that component of it instead of thinking about it as like an individualistic task, which is maybe how we often think about it. Like, am I ever going to be great at building something? Probably not. But do I lack the curiosity to even take something apart in the first place and see if I could figure it out? Yeah, I think so. And I think there's like, either there's something there in sparking the curiosity or it's in building the community around
for a generation that like ours. Yes. For the younger, curiosity also.
And maybe that's an angle. Yeah.
Teaches you patience. And if you have both, generally speaking, you're good at that.
Yeah.
If you're curious and patient, usually you're good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see anything? I'm only mentioning this one because it came up on the driving one, which is like, do you tie self-sufficiency to it?
Yeah, I did a little bit of digging on this. Like, I think there was a really strong identity tied to fixing things at some point, which was it signaled competence. It signaled self-sufficiency. It actually signaled adulthood in many ways. Like we tend to talk about milestones more in the like what you've purchased and where you are in your career, but it was sort of like a moment. And I think we're getting out of this stage right now, which is why I think we could see the resurgence of this. But for a really long time, like fixing things started to signal like being cheap, being outdated. I don't think people valued self-sufficiency anymore. Now that you see sort of like the rise of thrift shopping again, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Are we going to see something like, repair culture sort of come back with that? I see a lot of people with the thrifting also not just buying clothes, but buying them to turn them into new clothing items. So they're like cutting them apart, sewing them into completely new, shirts, dresses, skirts, whatever. But that also feels like it's something for other people to see. Yeah. And when you just fix like the light switch in your house, is it as rewarding if there's not that external validation? I don't know.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, which is like you have no external validation, and already like I could make the argument like there's a YouTube tutorial for everything. I've used many of them to do from the most like banal to more complicated things. You know what I mean? So you have a huge like amount of resources, more resources than ever you said. Yeah. You have a motivation by a culture that is very interested in external validation, not so much internal validation.
Yeah.
How do you get them closer to that thing?
Yeah.
Even is sort of,
I
know
think,
I'm oversimplifying.
I think
No,
the
it's
external
true.
validation is, I know we're in a culture motivated by that, but there is so much satisfaction one gets from accomplishing that kind of task that I think you could speak to that in a way that's probably fairly easy to adopt. Like that component, right? Like fixing something is super rewarding.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you don't have anyone who's like talking about you on Instagram, but
totally.
it's you have a lot.
No,
of,
you're right.
Especially in the world where we all know we could like replace it or have someone come in and do it for you.
And I shouldn't generalize that external validation is literally the only driver for behavior.
It's
but it
just
is a big one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But can I share an interesting, I haven't brought a good behavioral psychology principle to you in a while. And I'm going to bring a new one. I mean, we talked about loss aversion many, many times.
Yeah.
This is not that. This bit of psychology blows my mind because you would think it's the opposite. But there is a psychological principle known as effort discounting, which is essentially, and it's true for a lot of people, it is essentially the tendency to decrease the value of a reward as the amount of effort increases, because people equate their effort as a cost. So like to your point about time, because everyone's doing like value equations in their mind.
Totally.
So even though repairing something would give you validation, if you start thinking about like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm going to have to give up my Saturday. I don't think that's going to be worth the effort. I'm not going to, and because I was where you were at, where I'm like, I think that people could really have like a sense of pride and reward in this. But like most people are going to talk themselves out of it because of effort discounting. They're not going to want to put in, they're going to think that the time and effort required to put in is not going to be worth the reward.
Yeah, but it's probably because they don't know what the reward is. Once you try it, you,
but that's
you understand.
interesting.
Okay, that's a start right there, which is how do you introduce people to the reward?
Yeah.
Because like, this reminds me of, did you ever hear about the robot Nilesh made at Wyden? Where it was basically this robot that needed human help.
Yeah.
And so it was this like very easy
needy bot. It was
needy
called.
bot, right? Yeah. And it was essentially this idea of like doing small things to help it to build empathy with a machine, I think was kind of the purpose of it. But it also like, I mean, like there's a parallel sort of take on that of like, how do you build small wins to introduce people to the satisfaction of doing things themselves or fixing things or something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a small one, but it's an interesting one, which is like, I think the first toolkit I got, and I imagine a lot of people do when they get an apartment, is the IKEA toolkit. And it's like, shit,
sure.
It's garbage, but it's perfect for when you live in an apartment and you're mostly just hammering in nails to hang frames and the odd time you need a wrench. You know what I mean? But like it was sort of like, all right, here you go on your path of getting started of doing things yourselves and living in an apartment by yourselves. Here's a little package for you. Good luck.
It's
true.
You
know what I mean?
That's actually interesting. Like the DIY package for, I know recently we talked about like new homeowners but it's interesting that like the typical thing these days still for decades when you move into a house is like, here's an offer for a cable package and here's an offer. I mean, it used to be a phone, but an internet package, whatever it is. Now it's streaming offers or like food subscription. But like, why isn't like Lowe's sending people like when somebody just rents an apartment or basically anytime someone changes their address, giving them like a little bit of a like home starter toolkit.
Well, also, I mean, how do you feel about building IKEA? How do you two feel about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you have trouble with it? Do you find it enjoyable? Because like that's a DIY. I guarantee you everyone who's ever lived on their own has put together one of those Billy bookcases at the very least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's your opinion of that? How did that feel?
I hate it.
You hate it?
Oh yeah. Anything that involves like
following
DIY.
Directions.
Yeah. I hate it. I just hate it. I don't want to read the thing and then I don't read the thing and I make a mistake.
You intentionally don't read the thing.
I'm just like
this surprise you?
I'm just like, there's way too much copy on this. So like, blah, blah, blah.
There's literally no copy on it.
It's
I
just
can't think. It's
pictures.
just pictures.
And then my wife comes in and is like, no. And she's like, no, it's like, blah, 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 blah. And she fixes it in 2 seconds.
What about you, Jesse?
Yeah.
I am a really, really good assistant
Yeah.
with that. I'm not,
Yeah. That's great. Me
yeah,
too.
yeah. But I this is what I think is partially interesting. Like I can't actually, there's visual learners and verbal learners, and then there's hands-on learner.
Yeah.
Like I can't learn things by following. It's not that I'm unwilling to read the directions. It's just I cannot watch a YouTube tutorial and like know what to do. But if someone is sitting next to me and is like, cool, you're going to take that thing and I'm like, oh, I get it. It makes sense to me. And then the next time I could do it. So I also think this, like we praise the YouTube tutorials, yet we don't acknowledge that half the people can't learn that way. And I don't know that we've filled in the gap for the way that the other half, and I'm putting IKEA directions kind of in the same bucket as YouTube tutorial, because it's like visual and I'm like, I don't like know what it's telling me to do.
New tech question. Have you tried using ChatGPT for stuff like that?
Yes. Failed me at least 50% of the time.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
I have not tried it.
No. As in failed, as in like made me do things that I shouldn't have done.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's not a good platform for that.
I have pretty good experience with it, but I don't let it go too far.
But YouTube's much better. Because YouTube is actual humans who tried it.
The thing about
failed and then
the thing about
figured
it
out.
depends where I'm at in the process.
Yeah.
Because like with what I usually do is like I'll watch a video of something. I'll give you perfect examples. I got an airbrush for Christmas, and I'm like learning how to airbrush.
Oh,
right.
that's cool.
And I'm just like playing with an airbrush.
What's an airbrush?
Basically. Literally, like it sprays paint.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With
He's gonna
like
make us
airbag.
cool hats.
Yeah.
So like I'm learning how to play with that. And what I did was I first it was literally something about cleaning the airbrush, because the second it clogs, it's screwed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, first I went on YouTube and it was like a 20-minute long tutorial. And I was like, okay, I think I got the gist of it, but he had a way different airbrush than me. So I went to ChatGPT and I was like, I got this airbrush. I saw this, and I literally include a clip of the video. And then I'd be like, how would I do this on mine? And they're like, okay, in yours, go here, do this, do this. And I was like,
that's
I
interesting.
was kind of hacking a solution.
Yeah.
But it was like interesting to me that I was like, oh, I see a new way to sort of figure out how to do things.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you need, if you want to be really good at it, is you need to have had since your like teenage years or early days, what I would call the curiosity or the appetite for engineering logic.
Right. It's following rules.
Which I personally never had.
Right.
Like I'm like, and so if you today past 40, it's not right now that I'm going to learn it.
Yeah.
If you tell me like, can I, whatever, like put that massive piece of furniture, like literally studded or however it's called on the wall, I would be like, sure. And then the house is going to follow me. Like I don't have engineering logic. I don't think about those things.
Right.
And I think that's something you need to learn early on. If you want to go a little further than IKEA furniture, right? That's what I mean.
You need to want to learn it too.
Exactly. The curiosity, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
IKEA's, they do that part for you. But like if you want to start building things yourself, I think it's a little trickier.
I think talking about how to create the curiosity then is something interesting, because I think let's talk about younger generation then. If we think like once you're past a certain point, you're not going to learn it, but
you're going to go to like be hot, be curious.
No.
But that is a fear of mine with kids in the younger generation.
Yeah.
Which is that like I think there are kids whose curiosity either gets like takes a hit or gets numbed by just the ability to instead fulfill it with content or Amazon. You can just like throw something out and get something new so fast that I guess what I find interesting about this, not to like negate my entire topic, is I almost find it less important for you to actually be able to fix the thing than to just have the curiosity to take it apart in the first place. Figure out how to fix it. Yeah.
And just try. Like, again, obviously, am I going to stick my hand in the socket and be like, I wonder what happens if I put this wire with this wire? Like
electricity and plumbing, two things I've never messed with on purpose because I've heard too many horror stories.
We have dabbled in electricity in our apartment. And let me tell you, every time I'm like,
I put in like a light fixture. That's about the most I've done.
Same.
Oh no, we rewired.
I've assisted someone who put
some
in a light
stuff.
fixture.
I would never rewire any. I'm way too freaked out about that sort of stuff.
It's funny though, like, but I called my brother and he's like, it's not that complicated. Like, you just take that one and do that one. It's just the stakes are raised. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, to your point, if I put a shelf in and doesn't have the studs and the shelf falls down, I feel stupid.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to burn my house down with electricity. Yeah. You know what I mean?
One of the things I think is interesting is to think about how comfortable, this might sound like a not connected thought, but like how many kids are comfortable building Legos, even without following a specific kit or instructions. Some kids like to follow the kit and some kids don't, but there's sort of like, it's low stakes, right? But you're like figuring something out. And obviously there's a lot of mechanical stuff built into Legos now. Like you can make all kinds of things. And how do you create that level of like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I put this thing here and put that thing there. And I feel like Lego is toy. And so at some point you like stop thinking, you like put it in the toy bucket and then this is life and you don't think about it that way. And I don't know, maybe there's no way to like look at your vacuum cleaner and think, ooh, toy. But maybe there is.
It's interesting. It's toy. What else is Lego? There's a bit of creativity when you don't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it, even if you don't follow the
Lego
instructions.
Could be a million different things to
There's engineering and DIY. Like if you follow the rule book.
They don't call it engineering, so you don't feel like you have to know something.
There's experimentation.
Yeah.
I think, like, how do you reframe, to your point, how do you reframe fixing your toaster like building a Lego?
Right. It's tough because Lego is different things to different people, to your point. You know what I mean? Like to some people, it's ultimate creativity. To some people, it's really good at following a rule.
It's true if you make fixing your toaster ultimate creativity. I'm curious where it goes.
Well, okay, here's another thought, because I sort of what we were just talking about, which is like maybe the curiosity is more important than the fixing in the first place. I'll reframe that, which is if you could get people to try, like if you're going to replace it anyway.
Yeah.
And you think that's where you're headed, but give yourself 4 days to see what happens.
Right.
Like I think one of the reasons, or at least what I was reading about, one of the reasons that people don't do this is it's like ego exposing. You're like
don't want to be bad at something.
You don't want to be bad at something and you feel stupid.
I have so little time for that. Like I know it's a truth, but like it's such a like
limiting truth.
Yeah,
I know,
like, but
it's for a lot of people, like they don't want to feel bad at something. They don't want to feel like they failed at something.
I feel bad the way with my skill set today. I would feel 100 times better if I could say, yeah, sure, I'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather try and fail
but
twice.
you're still willing
You're still willing to try things.
Ish.
Like when people are afraid of
like
doing...
we just ordered a standing desk and I was like,
did you get the
there's things to actually fix.
Widen it out.
And there's also cables.
Yeah.
Like there's electricity and IKEA in there. Oh my God, like kill me. And I started and I was slow. And, Amelie to the rescue, and she's like, boop, 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 boop. So I actually helped on that one and we built it together, but then we didn't finish and she finished it alone the following day.
For her.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, TaskRabbit all day for me. Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm like, to me, it's a matter of time and priorities. Now that I know I'm not going to be very good at it and I'm not enjoying the process. Many people enjoy the process.
Let's take you out of it because
I know.
Well, there's different ways to go at it.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's different ways to, and I don't mean to cut you off.
Go.
Because there is let's build the inspiration in people who have this propensity to really pursue it. And we're also getting into a weird conversation too, which is like, what is DIY? Like, because by that, I mean, like you could make an argument for the last 30 years that people are most interested in DIY became coders. You know what I mean? Like, it's like there's different forms of DIY as well. You know what I mean? And I don't want, I hate myself for even bringing it up.
No, it's okay. Because I think after that, like DIY became about making bad things better instead of fixing something. And I think there's more status. I know external validation is not the only option, but I mean, the DIY culture on like Instagram and Pinterest was all the rage, but it was people buying like fixer-upper homes or taking this shitty room and making it
love that stuff.
Awesome and beautiful.
I love that
yes.
stuff.
You know, Simon,
I eat it up.
do you have a favorite?
Look, Chip and Joe. People, you both know my fandom for them. I think they're fantastic.
I just wanted the fans to know.
Better than Coldplay.
Yeah. That's a debate we'll have on the podcast one day. Yeah. Are Chip and Joanna more influential than Coldplay?
In culture.
But it made DIY a thing of, it's different. It's different than like, hey, I took this object and I just brought it back to its original state that it was at a week ago, instead of, I took this ugly room and turned it into something beautiful. And I do think as a culture, we're more obsessed with like improvement than we are with just fixing. Yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing to think about. Totally. I don't know how to solve it, to be honest.
What would you be interested in learning how to fix or make better?
I mean, I like even something as stupid as a pen breaking.
You'd like to know how to break to fix the pen?
Fix the pen. Like, it's literally just a little spring in there with like the ink tube. And I'm just like, well, the pen's broken. And I've never tried to just be like, wait a minute, could I take this? Because it feels so disposable.
Have you ever gotten a stain on a shirt and worked at getting the stain out?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And when I can't do it, I just tie-dye it. That's what happened recently.
What about you? Is there anything that you're like, I'd be interested genuinely?
I'd love to, anything at home that, you know, all the little fixes that you constantly need to do when you own a home, wherever it is. Yeah, I'd love to be better at this. Oh, that door is rotten in the backyard. Yeah. Okay, how do I change it? Yeah. Or whatever. It could be anything. The million things you always got to do, and you have a list, and like, that thing needs painting.
Right. Have you painted your own walls?
Not many.
Really, eh?
It's probably happened to me once, maybe but never like emptying, like when the
empty
house
everything out, paint the lines.
No. When the house is all moved in and you got to take everything out and back in and everything.
No, okay.
We have a room that needs repainting right now, and it's been 2 years.
Well, painting's annoying.
Painting's really annoying.
Painting's annoying. It's not hard though.
No, it's not hard.
Okay,
it's time.
Simon.
It's a lot of time.
When you built in your garage, you built like what do you call it?
Like a sliding door?
No, the
piece of furniture.
Piece of furniture. Was that the first time you ever built something like that?
Something that big? Yeah. But that was the idea of the garage. Like, to me, it was exactly what you were saying before, where I was like, okay, I'm going to use this garage as an opportunity to learn, because like you guys have seen, I've made mistakes with it, but I've been like, that's fine. That's part of the learning process of the garage.
Okay. I think that's interesting then, let's assume we're talking to an audience that already has some level of curiosity.
Right.
Creating a physical space that's sort of like a learn and fail space could be interesting, because maybe when it's your home, it just feels like, I don't want to ruin anything.
I think that's a big big concern for people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to.
I think your brother's idea is a very good idea.
Hosting like little classes. Yeah. I was reading about
because it's like forcing to get people's hands on stuff, I think is the toughest part.
But also, your time's not going to be wasted because it's going to be fixed because someone knows how to fix it.
Yeah.
So you're like, you're kind of like tackling two things at the same time.
Sort of like an apprenticeship, a mini apprenticeship.
Two concerns at the same time as to why people don't do it.
Yeah.
Afraid not to get there, afraid to waste their time. You're going to get there and not going to waste your time. So
I liked the way he talked about it too, which was actually, it's in his own home.
Totally.
And he's taking apart his own stuff. He's like, let me literally disassemble this toaster and then put it back together and show you how it works.
It's crazy.
And you're like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. I was reading in the UK, there's like over 800, I think now, repair cafes popping up, which
That's very
frankly
cool.
I thought was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
It sounds
Just
very
like-
British too.
Yeah. And they're tackling essentially what I'm talking about, which is throwaway culture.
Yeah.
And so they've created these cafes so it feels more community. You can either have somebody fix something for you, or you can learn the skills there. So they kind
Yeah.
of function dual-sided. And I think it's really interesting.
I buy that.
Okay,
I
so
totally buy
make
that.
it easier and inviting for people to do it. Right?
And
it's
it's
like the
not-
starting bit.
It's to me, it's not just that, because again, the time thing is important, and by doing that, your time
You
is
know it's gonna get
guaranteed
done.
not wasted.
Yes.
It's gonna get done.
Not
That is one of
wasting
my
time.
concerns when I try things. Sorry, I don't mean to bring it back to me, but
No.
I'm part of the audience on this one.
Totally.
And I'm like, I'm at the risk of spending my whole afternoon doing something and
Totally
not
agree.
crossing it
Yeah.
off the to-do list.
Yeah. That
I spent
is
3 hours doing this, and it's
Yes,
a
and
worse
I
shape
got
than I started.
nowhere.
That is a nightmare.
Right? And
Yeah.
so if you guarantee you
Yeah.
have someone, I would pay for that class.
Yeah.
Obviously less than someone just fixing it and I can do something else.
Yeah.
But I would still like be like, okay, I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's gonna, and I'd probably go with my son.
Home
Yeah.
Depot has classes
and
like that.
because he's interested in like, he's built things with his hands. And his godfather is amazing at like, he built our like at what you did in your garage, but he actually did it at some point, sold some pieces and blah,
Right.
blah, blah, like big
Yeah.
outdoor tables, benches. So my son did
Oh,
some
that's
woodwork
cool.
with him in his little atelier. And it was awesome. Like I would bring my 7-year-old daughter, like
Right.
just, okay, let's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
open that toaster.
Yeah.
What does it look like? I think that would be cool.
Those exist for the record.
Yeah.
They
repair
do.
shops.
Well, like
But
also
it's
like
not a repair shop, right?
And
It's
also
a repair
like
workshop.
Home Depot does like tutorials and stuff like that at their spaces too. Like I've been there before when like I walk in with one of my kids and they're like, "Hey, does she want to learn how to make a table? We're doing a class this week." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but what I mean is
And they do repair ones too for adults and all that
okay.
sort of stuff.
I really
like they
want
do
like Jesse's brothers. I really want the thing where I can show up with whatever I have to fix.
make it like book club, but for repair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
gonna
cool.
be fixed
Yeah.
by the end
Yeah.
by my hands, but under his guidance or
Yeah.
her guidance.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's cool. I think the book
How
club.
do you build a culture around that?
Yeah.
Because like it's like
Well-
I mean, people get together for all sorts of stuff. For drinking, I mean, people get together to book clubs, D&D, you name it. Like there's all sorts of things. Like how do you get people to do repair clubs?
That's a good question. Do you think is the motivation the same for someone who goes to a D&D club and someone who goes to a book club?
No, I don't think they all are, but there's overlap. You know what I mean? I think
Community
it's
is one,
community,
right?
it's
Community.
social, it's a fun time. I'd like to think what we're talking about is going to
Could
be a
be
fun
fun.
time. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, Roman, you brought this up on an episode recently about, or maybe we just talked about it as a group, but how there's a new trend right now with friend groups getting together on like a Thursday night. Instead of going out drinking, they call like an admin night. So everybody brings like their to-do list of stuff you never want to do, like unsubscribing to emails, making doctor's appointments, like all that kind of stuff, but they're all together and they're social. And so I think this is in that kind of vein. Like, is it entertainment in the same way D&D is? No. But if you make it sort of like
entertaining
and
Yeah.
communal and social, like I think it's really cool.
That's interesting because I think it's even easier to market than the admin night.
Yeah, totally. Because you
the
get
admin
something
is
out of
literally
yeah.
you learn nothing.
it's hell.
Yeah.
You're just checking
the
things
slog.
off your to-do
Totally.
list. The
Yeah.
other one, you're kind of like learning
Yeah.
Yeah.
something, and there is a reward, like a personal
Yeah.
reward,
Yeah.
an internal validation.
Yeah, which I think that's really interesting.
I buy that. I would go once a quarter
Yeah, once a quarter to
Yeah.
repair.
on a Saturday afternoon to
repair
take a couple of
afternoon.
things that don't
Yeah.
work the way I want
Yeah.
them to work,
Fix
and
this.
Figure
go
out how
with
to
one
do
or
it.
two of my kids and be like,
Yeah.
all right, let's get
We're
our hands
gonna learn
dirty
how
in
to
that
do
thing.
this.
Yeah.
Even
That'd
like
be fun.
sewing on a button is something that many people don't
Oh,
know how
yeah.
to do.
Oh, my nightmare.
Yeah.
I love sewing
Too
buttons.
precise.
See, that's something. There you go.
Okay, but two things that makes me think of. One of the reasons I love sewing buttons is I don't think you have to be that precise with it.
Okay.
And I think it's like the same reason I love tie-dye. It's complete chaos
Yeah.
obviously if it's like a high-end shirt, like you don't want to turn it into like, I'm like, take that green shirt and put a pink button on it.
Right.
Like that's fun.
Who cares?
So
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of, it's not going to be true for all elements of fix-it culture, but I think if you actually take the precision off of it. There are certain ways that you can fix things that's not the right way, but it's also not a dangerous way. And like it works and it's good and it makes it kind of fun because you're like, yeah, whatever. Like I sewed a pink button on a green shirt. Like I don't care. Yeah. It's fun.
Most stuff's like that.
Fixed in a little bit of a hacky way.
Like when you, the joke about woodworking is like the difference between a bad woodworker and a good worker is a good one's better at hiding their mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's literally just like, you just figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think that taking the pressure off always helps. I think that could be really interesting. Yeah. I also think I said at the beginning, fix it. Like the desire to fix things is tied to hobbies. So why not make everything feel a little bit more like a hobby?
Okay, here's a question. Could you attach it to being, is it seen as a attractive attribute in people?
Oh, totally. I think so. 100%.
Like, because I remember Portlandia made a joke. Portlandia made a joke about it once about this dude who like makes his own chairs, and it turns out he makes terrible chairs, but everyone thought he was like the sexiest guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean?
Well, that sounds very Portland.
Yeah. So like again, it's a 10-year-old joke, but like it is like I'm like, is there something there you could take advantage of in places like this? Sexy DIY.
Sexy DIY. I mean, it sounds like an opportunity for OnlyFans to build their next platform. But no, that is interesting. Like learn to fit. Like if you attached it if you had Tinder or Hinge, make it an offering of their brand experience where they're like, we have the app, but we also teach people how to fix stuff because we've determined that being able to fix things is one of the sexiest attributes in a potential partner. So now we're going to like, as a business to make people feel more eligible like to other partners. It's interesting.
Well, could you use it as part of the app? Like, are you good at fixing stuff? If so, you could make that a first date.
Totally.
Like, I'll come over and fix your couch.
That sounds like a really good pickup line.
And I'll show my value.
Yeah, I'd be like,
demonstrate value.
Hard pass, but I like that. There's actually, they could turn that into a whole, there was a study a couple years ago about how being financially responsible, not rich, but being financially responsible had become one of the most attractive attributes in a potential partner. And I always thought that was really interesting because you always think like, oh, adventure and this and people are like, no, financial responsibility is like real sexy. Yeah. And it's like kind of the same thing. And I think about these dating platforms. I'm like, okay, what if you had your app, but you also taught financial responsibility? Yeah. You taught DIY. You taught these skills that the people are lacking today, but people find deeply attractive. I think that would be so cool.
I think so too. Fixing hot vacuum fixing influencers.
Well, that's slightly different, but I'm also into it. There's a great Instagram page that's just hot men reading books. And it's kind of the same thing.
There was like an article a long time ago when Fixer Upper first came out with Chip and Joe, for those of you who know that. And it was an Atlantic article. It was like classic, like slightly 20% over intellectualized.
Yeah, yeah.
But they said something where they're like, Fixer Upper is like a fantasy show for everyone, because for a lot of people, it's vision coming to life. For other people, it's the sufficiency to do it yourself. Like, and like, that's kind of what Chip represents. And then on top of it all, it's like, oh, and you can do this for way less money than you thought you could.
It's so,
and I was like, that's a pretty good point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think this like desire, I think a lot of people have of like, if I want to do something, I can just do it.
Yeah.
Is very tempting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's why I asked about the self-sufficiency thing. It's not exactly
I think it's
that.
Huge.
But there is something interesting in just like, take control of your life, take control of your money, take control of your surroundings by,
and I know that this is probably, Roman, not how you operate, but for me, and I think there are many people like me, I actually would sit on my to-do list longer if I have to find somebody to do it. Like if I like what you just said is very appealing to me personally, of just like, if I want to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
That's how I prefer to operate. When I have to stick something on my to-do list now of like, I need to now find, like, I'm like, I have to do research. I need to find the right person. I will go like 6 months now without taking care of that problem because I've put it on it's on the admin to-do list, the things I don't really want to do. So I also wonder if you actually end up spending less time. I guess if you already have the skill, you end up spending far less time just doing it yourself.
100%.
But it's highly motivating to me to just be like, I want to do it, so I did it.
Yeah, totally. Do you think, do you think perfect is also the enemy of good in this instance?
100%, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's what I mean about the pink button on the green shirt.
For better or for worse, I'm pretty okay with good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the reason why I'm happy to take stuff on, you know?
Totally, yeah.
What if you could, we haven't played God in a while. So,
no, we haven't.
I'm gonna talk about maybe a system-wide opportunity. But like, if you could actually incentivize people, like let's say Amazon grows a heart and is like, we actually want to help to reduce some waste. If you try to fix something yourself first and it didn't work, you get 20% off the replacement that you want.
Oh, that's interesting.
Something that forces just try it.
I had a different idea, but go
ahead.
My idea was like, what if you released a line of goods, like Amazon released a line of goods or something, where there was just like, it was, let's pretend the IKEA version of a light switch or the IKEA version of other things, just to show people like literally like, here's the box, here's the switch, you click it in here, you attach this here and you add it and you plug it in, you got your own light switch, and congrats, you use your own light switch. Like, did you ever hear the thing about, I think I told you about this recently, so I apologize, but I'll repeat for the pod, which is like, when they first put out like cake mix, they realized like, okay, we could make this with just basically mix and water and people do it. But the one that tested better was the one that you needed to add eggs to and you need to add a little bit of milk to. Why? Because it gave people the ability to say, I made this, rather than just like it was made for me. It gave people an attempt at the satisfaction we've been talking about, essentially. Totally. So what if you could build like other products that just needed like 10% for you to go, I made that light switch? I don't know.
Or no, that's interesting. Or you just sell that as like the way Legos are sold.
Yeah.
So like in order to teach, like basically like training wheels, in order to teach people how to fix a vacuum or how to do this, you sell a product that's like, cool, we 50% built this vacuum and there's 5 things wrong with it.
Left to
and
do.
Now it becomes almost like a puzzle, or it's completely built and there's 5 things wrong with it. You need to figure out what those are. And it's a game. I mean, it's like practically an escape room, but built as a product. I think that would be really cool. It's like a good way to hands-on feel comfortable. Even like you said, Roman, if you don't have that engineering instinct, I think it's really intimidating. But if you're like, this is now a vacuum escape room, there are 5 things wrong with it, you need to figure out what they are, I'm like, I would play that game. And
vacuum escape room.
Yeah.
It's just a confusing packaging. It's like a vacuum, it says vacuum escape room.
Yeah,
you're like, what am I supposed to do with that?
But that would be cool. And then I'd be far less intimidated if something, I'd be like, actually, I think I might know a thing or two about. Maybe it will just create a lot of highly overconfident people who are
like, give me that vacuum.
I know a thing
I played vacuum escape room. I think I know how to do this.
I know a thing or two about vacuums, actually.
Was there ever a TV show about fixing things? Like in competition, where you give the same object broken the same way to 5 different people at the same time. They can't see what the other's doing and they got to fix it?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
That's pretty fun.
You can figure out how to do it.
Yeah. You do like...
I mean, if
it's
they do...
It's a 3-minute TikTok show.
Do you think it would help? Like, do you think Is It Cake made more people want to bake cakes?
I don't know. Baking's a little different because you also get satisfaction from eating
baking
it.
Show.
But
definitely.
But I think it would help.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it would make people. I mean, another option would be to take it's like five 5 random celebrities. Like,
Exactly.
you know, I think if nobody there has a skill and you see what happens, it's one of the things I find interesting watching any competition show where the people there are not, it's not like a baking show where people are good bakers, but when you watch like Survivor or something and you're like, I don't know how they figured that out, but I guess the whole point is you just have to figure it out. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be into it. I mean, there are competitions watching people chop logs as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So why not watch how fast can you
put together
you'd have to like
a
raise
radio.
the stakes somehow. Like if you're going to like drop through the trap door on the floor if you can't.
You make it Squid Game too at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. Squid Game meets DIY repair celebrity edition. Yeah, that's pretty good.
What would be like if there was like 5 things that you think everyone would be like, I would be happy to know how to fix this thing? Because I think like to your point at the very start, like there's a lot of things that are off the table just because like the cost of replacement is cheaper than the time worth doing it.
I think a refrigerator is a big one.
That's tough.
I don't know though.
Freon's a beast.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I completely agree with you on the electricity and plumbing thing, but I think like a dishwasher, like those tend to break down and you don't want to touch them because you're afraid like you're going to have a flooding in your house. But generally speaking, it takes like 90 seconds to someone and fix it. And you're like,
that'll be $200.
I wish I knew that one.
Yeah.
Similar is like the disposal in the sink.
So man,
like those
two are
break
interconnected.
And they're interconnected. And every time I've had to call someone for that, I'm pretty sure they just like
pull something,
flip
up.
A switch. And I'm like, son of a.
Like a few, an oven.
Yeah.
Like also it feels scary and complicated. You bring in
You figured out how to fix your earthquake switch recently.
No.
That's one.
No, we brought someone and then
they told you how.
Yeah.
So now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah, now we know. Yeah.
I keep bringing up the vacuum, but I do think it's a big one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It comes up. I see it all the time. Like in all of these, in a lot of the like repair fairs and things, like vacuums is a really big one. Like, cause there are very nice, expensive vacuums out there that people don't want. Yeah. And there used to be shops like dedicated to that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think bicycles, even though tied to hobby, I think is a big one. Like if the chain fell off my bike, like
you don't know how to put a chain on?
I have no idea. I don't know how to change it. I don't know how to change a tire.
No,
sorry, Dad.
On a bike, I hate it. But on a car?
On a car?
Yeah. Oh no.
I've done it.
I know how to do it, but
did you guys drive crappy cars growing up?
I drove take me 3 times the time anyone else would.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's an irrelevant point for me because, as we all know,
that's true.
I don't drive.
Yeah, cars would be a big one.
Yeah,
yeah.
Changing the oil in
cars,
a car, like so many people have. That's not that complicated.
No, it's not at all.
But think about what people spend to have it done.
We haven't really answered the question. Was it top 5 things people want to get?
Because like, I mean, like, I think when you say cars, appliances, and I'd let's just throw in house there. Those are like 3 things where like the value equation makes sense to learn how to do some of this stuff.
If you say cars, appliances, and house, like it's pretty much
everything.
Everything, right? Except for
it's a good list, Simon.
Except for a computer tower, like it's literally in a data center. Yeah. It's like everything.
Ooh, computers though is an interesting one.
Yeah.
You've been there.
What's it called?
An AC unit.
AC units. That would be tough.
That fixed.
Dude, that's another one that like once every 3 years when I turn it back on for the first time and they're like, oh, this thing's busted. I'm like, I just got this thing. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Cause it's interesting. Cause like where my mind was going was like, cause like if you wanted to, let's combine everything for a second here and start talking about some sort of like repairs club. You could do like house appliance.
Yeah.
Repair club house, repair club appliance, repair club car.
Yeah, you can build it like a quarterly calendar where you focus on a different.
I think you have to start simple with all that.
Yeah,
what you're trying to do is get people into fixing things.
But if you
the easiest thing, the fun is going to come from the community aspect, not one-on-one.
Totally.
To do that, you need to do it at a location, so there's some travel implied.
Totally.
To do that, you need to be able to travel with your thing that needs to be fixed.
So
I think you start with appliances. Like house is like suddenly.
I'd start with cars.
Or you start with cars.
Right there.
Yeah.
I actually think it could be interesting to treat it like a skills swap and like. the other person doesn't necessarily have to
that's
be
interesting.
trading a repair skill. Like if I'm like, cool.
I'm good at strategy. I'm going to teach you strategy in 30 minutes.
Trying to come up with another
I've done
skill that I have. Like, okay, I can play an instrument. Like, you want to learn like the basics of how to play a string instrument? Cool. I have no idea how to change the oil in my car. Cool. We're going to meet at
skill
this
swap
space. I'll teach you literally the basics of playing the cello. And you teach me how to swap the oil. I'll bring my car, or you bring your car. I'll bring my cello. Like,
so do you build some sort of currency for that? Like some sort of online favor trading?
What other things than like fixing things
do people want to learn?
Takes as little time to learn. Because like if you teach me once how to fix my toaster, I think I can probably remember it.
Yeah.
Cellos, you're going to need 1,000 hours of
so they say
of lessons. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what other thing?
I've with fishing, when I've been very into fishing, I've gone with people I don't know to learn certain techniques of fishing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the cello.
You know what I love about what you said is that literally this morning, a listener messaged me on one of our posts and was like, man, every time I listen to you guys, I'm having so much fun. And Simon seems to be such a crazy person. And now you bring in like fishing of all the things that you learn.
Like, there's been two times.
I fucking love this.
There's been two times where one time.
Simon's the crazy one?
Yeah. One time I went ice fishing and I just met a guy on Craigslist who said he'd take me ice fishing.
Simon had a crazy life, I think was the thing. It was after the resolutions episode.
Yeah. And then the second one was one time I wanted to learn how to catch steelhead, which are really hard to catch in BC. And it was in the winter, and this guy taught me how to catch steelhead.
I mean, okay, the cello example is extreme, but if you were just like, I want to learn literally like the basic of scales, like you could learn that. Like
baking,
I think
maybe.
or I know this is a little bit into fix it, but
this should be
learning how to thread a sewing machine to get started. Like that's literally you could learn that in 30 minutes. Cookie. Yeah,
in a different way than you can on YouTube.
Totally,
right?
And I like the interaction of the swap, but it's not, I can fix this and you can fix that. I have a completely unrelated non-fix-it skill, but I'm going to teach you.
I'm willing to use it.
Yeah.
If you can help me with this.
It's like bartering.
It's bartering.
It's cool. I like that.
Cool.
I would totally, how to learn how to do strategy in 30 minutes. I like to think that I can do other things besides just strategy, but...
You can do lots of things, Jesse.
That's pretty much my top one, though.
You can do lots of things.
I get how to do a cartwheel.
Oof.
I'll teach. There are a lot of people who can't do one.
I can't.
Really?
I would.
I can do a decent one.
A good one?
No, I can do a decent. I don't know if I call mine good, but my daughter likes
doing it. I'll show you once.
I got to compete with her.
I don't want.
I got nothing.
I don't want anybody. No one's allowed to hurt themselves.
You got to make sure the legs get wide. That's always my thing. So that it touches basically by the time your one hand's going up. That's how I try to avoid disaster.
Yeah. I like to get a running start, so I just have a lot of momentum.
Oh, that's good. Just forces it.
And then just like flip.
Did you do like a handspring?
I can't do it. When I was like a much younger kid, I was learning how to do one like on the playground, but I can do like a cartwheel. No, I can't do a back handspring. But you know what?
That was a
We're getting off topic now.
That was a long-winded answer for no.
Well, I was trying to, there's something else and I couldn't remember the name for it. And then I gave up halfway through the sentence, but I would like to learn.
Are we near recap time or should we keep talking about this?
I think we're probably, let's wrap it up. I don't have another road to take us down, I don't think. So where's my weird little half piece of paper? No. So we're talking about, of course, once again, I forgot to take notes, but talking about how to bring back the idea of fixing things, repairing things. We live very much in a culture of just replace it, don't repair it. A lot of reasons that it's harder to repair things these days. But I think what's interesting is we talked a lot about how do you create the curiosity of it in the first place. Sometimes the stakes are high, especially when it comes to your own property. You don't want to make things worse, which feels very scary. I love the idea of creating like the toy version of the thing for people to fix and to just even build that engineering muscle, which you talked a lot about, Roman. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But like maybe you can learn it hands-on. People learn in different ways. So yeah, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials out there, but half the people can't learn that way. So we need to create other ways to do it. And that's, I think, how we got into talking about the toys, but also things like the book club for the repair club, like the book club. We talked about just here at the very end, the exchange, the swap, the bartering of skills, which I think could be really fun. I think that's, the community aspect, right? Yeah. I mean, I think we all want my brother classes. Now to we'll just have to fly him out here and have him teach us a couple things. But the community component, the class component, I think, Roman, you brought up a really good point that it makes the time value equation really easy when you know that you're not just going to waste 6 hours and potentially get nowhere versus actually show up to a class, learn something, get the thing fixed. And even if it took 6 hours, you know that by the end of it, you're going to come out with a solution, which I think is really important to people who just have less time than they used to do things.
And it's like the gym. If you have an appointment, you're committed. You got to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So fix it. Could be fun. Simon, do you think we cracked it?
No, but I think we have, like, I keep going back to like dating apps and Groupons of the world. And I keep being like, oh, I smell like a product opportunity. Oh yeah,
we forgot about that one. Getting like Hinge or Tinder.
Yeah, I'm just like, I smell some sort of way you could maybe not like completely revolutionize the whole world into being a thing, but like capitalizing on this interest in an interesting way that creates something that maybe helps encourage and create a market like that.
Yeah.
But like right now, I think it's more just like sprinklings of interesting ways in.
Roman?
I actually think we're closer than Simon, because I think ideas like the classes thing, and just imagine it's not just a local thing, but it becomes a nationwide thing. The skill swapping idea that you guys were talking about, that becomes an app. Like you put a TV show on TikTok that's like 2.5 minute long episodes about just you make it obviously fun and all about competition. And you make it again part of culture from an awareness standpoint, but you also make it accessible subtly with certain solutions. I think it could move the needle.
I'm kind of with you. I think it's one of those things that you can only solve by surrounding culture with it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a singular thing. I think you need to sort of embed it in the systems around us, in TV, in social, in cafes. And then all of a sudden, when it sort of feels like it's everywhere, it becomes something that's just natural to do. I think that's probably, I think it's a very grassroots approach, is one of the only ways to kind of get people. So I think we nearly cracked it.
Yeah, we're pretty good.
If that's an option.
All right. It is. It is because we said so.
It is because we said so.
Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time on another episode of Crack It. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. If you like the show, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you have questions, thoughts, or feedback, shoot us an email at hello@crackitpodcast.com or on Instagram @crackitpodcast. Music done by Michael Anastasi, cover art shot by Mick Mint, and all things audio and video taken care of by Nathan Nash. See you next time.